my shelter forever. In time of storm, my shelter forever, forever, you're my King. Your mercy forever shall cover me, and your mercy forever, forever, you're my King. All the power and the glory belongs to thee. All the power and the glory forever, you're my King. I'll serve you forever with all my heart. I'll serve you forever, forever, you're my King. I'll praise you forever with all my heart. I'll praise you forever, forever, you're my King. I'll praise you forever with all my heart. I'll praise you forever, forever, you're my King. Forever, you're my King. Forever, you're my King. Amen. 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 Amen.
Do you feel like praising him?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Most folk have problems praising him when the situation gets too hot.
All right.
You don't have that problem this afternoon.
That's right.
Can you praise him when the condition gets too cold?
Yes. Hallelujah.
He's a good God always.
Yes, he is.
And we have come to give him praise.
Yes. Hallelujah.
Amen. Forever, he's our King.
Yes, he is.
Anybody in here ever lived in England before? Any citizens from anywhere in the United Kingdom? Okay, that means that none of us understand what we just heard.
All right.
Because all our lives we've had a president. All our lives we've been able to go to the polls and vote to determine who our leader will be.
All right.
All our lives, if we didn't like people in office, all we had to do was vote them out. Because the power was in the hands of a democracy.
Right, right.
Well, the church is not a democracy.
Right, all right.
The church is a theocracy.
Yes.
It is a people under the rule of God.
Yes.
And like it or not, he's king.
Yes, he is.
He's not king by vote because there was nobody around to cast a vote.
Yes.
Before we were ever here, he was here. He's king in the beginning, he's king now, and after we're dead and gone, guess what? He will still be king. He doesn't need a congressman or a congresswoman. Doesn't need anybody from the House of Representatives. He doesn't need anybody from the Senate. All this king has to do is say what will be. And no matter how you like it or don't like it, it's going to be just what he said it's going to be. You may not like winter, but God said it's going to get cold.
All right.
You may not like heat, but when the summer comes, God says it's going to get hot.
All right.
And nobody's vote, nobody's committee meeting, nobody's self-imposed decision will change what the king will do.
All right.
So when you say he's my king, be sure you want to say that.
Yes.
Because that means you have nothing in your life that he does not maintain control over.
That's right.
Thank you, Bethel.
Thank you, Jesus.
I got one of the best choirs in back.
All right. All right. All right.
Forever. He's my king.
Yes.
Pastor, to the Reverend clergy, officers and members of the Star of Bethlehem, Bethel, Mount Calvary, any other visiting friends from any other churches that are present. God bless you all the way from Poughkeepsie, from where one of my most beloved preachers preach every Sunday.
Amen.
Reverend Jesse Bottoms.
Amen.
We thank the Lord for the privilege of being in your presence. And we want to just bless you with the word of the Lord today. We're going to try and not keep you a long time. Thank you so much, Minister, for that introduction. You could have done any better had you prepared.
That's right.
Thank you for
Amen.
that. Amen. Now, she just said that the T in that word meant truth. So that's why I said I'm going to try not to hold us long.
Amen.
You've heard the reading of our text, and I want to just read through it once again for your hearing. It's Matthew 16, beginning with verse 13, a very familiar passage for anyone who has been in church any length of time. When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" And they said, "Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elijah, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets." He saith unto them, "But whom say ye that I am?" And Simon Peter answered and said, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered and said unto him, "Blessed art thou, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. We want to talk for a few minutes about upon this rock. Amen. Upon this rock. The passage begins when Jesus raises a question to his disciples about who the people were saying or believing that he was. The passage begins raising your eyebrows if you truly understand Jesus. He asked his disciples, what are the people saying about me? Who do they think I am? Who do they think my purpose? What do they think my purpose is? Who are they saying that I am? Now look at verse 13. I like people to keep the Bible open when I preach, just to check me to be sure I'm telling you what it says. Jesus asked them, who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? Is that in your Bible? Seems like to me, Jesus is giving them the answer to the question. Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? Wouldn't it be pretty clear from the question that the answer would be that he is the Son of Man? But when Jesus asked, who do people say I am? They didn't listen closely enough to hear the full question. They started thinking about what other folk were saying about him. Because in our limited and restricted mentalities, we tend to think about what we know the most about. So Jesus asked them, whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? This is an important moment in the life of the disciples. They don't realize how important it is. As Pastor Christopher Hill. They don't realize how important this is because Jesus is getting ready to prepare his disciples to live out his purpose. The church is nothing but the continuation of the life of Christ on earth. That's what we are. We are the continuation of the life of Christ on earth. Everything that Jesus was on earth is what the church is supposed to be right now. Jesus is getting ready to prepare them for something that the prophets didn't prepare them for. He's getting ready to prepare them for something that the Old Testament never made clear to them. And so this is an important moment. And their knowledge about him, their knowledge of him is so important because he has come now to share with them on the coast of Caesarea Philippi information that Isaiah or Jeremiah or David or none of the other prophets ever said anything about. All they said was, the Messiah is coming. All Isaiah said was, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah, treading the winepress all alone? All he could say that is he is wonderful. He's a counselor. He's the mighty God, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Job said he's like the rose of Sharon and the lily of the valley and the bright and morning star. David spoke of him as the upcoming Messiah who will come to bring deliverance to the captives and set them free. But no prophet told them that there would ever be a church.
All right. All right.
So their assumption was, when Messiah comes, we get to rule. Because he is the God King who has come to sit on the throne and give us the kingdom to rule on earth. That's all they knew. Because you see, God only tells you all you need to know.
All right. All right. All right.
If God were to tell you everything, neither he nor us would they be able to do anything.
All right.
Oh, we can shout about soon as my feet strike mine. I'm going to lay down my heavy burden. We can talk about those streets of gold, and we can talk about those gates of pearl, and we can talk about that strange-looking tree that does not have to wait for a whole season to bear its fruit. It does it every month.
All right.
That strange tree that has a different limb for a different fruit.
All right.
So that 12 different fruit growing on one particular tree. And by the time you pluck it and eat it, 30 days later, fruit is ready to be plucked and eaten again.
All right.
We can talk about that place where the angels sing his praises while the grand organ of heaven is played by that organist whom we do not know. We can talk about that. But the truth of the matter is, we don't know the half of what's in heaven.
All right.
Because if God were to tell us the whole story, our humanity could not contain it. So God only lets us know as much as we need to know.
All right.
They didn't know there was going to be a church. They didn't know that Jesus would come, suffer, die, rise again, and be over 2,000 years in coming back, finishing what he said he was going to do. So now he understands that his people must know who he is and understand who he is if they're going to fulfill the purpose that God sent for him. So he asks them pointedly in that very moment, without giving them the theology book to look it up, without giving them a passage from the Old Testament to find, just out of nowhere, he just turns around and says, who are the folks saying that I am? And look at what happens in the text. In the 14th verse, one after the next, they started throwing out answers. Some of the folks saying you're John the Baptist. Other people believe that you're Elijah. Because they know in the Bible, in the Old Testament, it said that you would send Elijah before the great and dreadful day, the coming of the Lord. And others think you're Jeremiah because they remembered when you were up on that mountain looking down at the city, and when you began to weep and cry over Jerusalem and how it's gotten away from God. They're thinking that you're this one, that one, or the other one.
All right.
And he raises the question, and everybody responds. But then the second question is more shocking than the first one. Verse 15. Okay, I understand that you've been listening to what other folk have to say about me. I understand that you've been in conversation with other people when I wasn't around. You never told me before that folk were confused about me. I had to ask you this question to pull that out of you. Now, you are my disciples. I chose you. You belong to me. But you've been listening to other voices.
Yes.
See, that's why these churches of ours are so messed up.
Yes.
We don't know who to listen to.
That's right.
She said, you've been listening to other voices.
So true.
You know what people think about me that I never chose to follow me. You know what people think about me who don't even believe on me. You know what people think about me who never went to Sunday school, who were never presented in the temple. You know what folk think about me who are thieves and robbers and criminals and beggars and secular kinds of people who don't have time for temple worship and don't have time for God. You know what they all think, but that's not what's important for you. You got to understand that you've got to know for yourself who I am. It just does something in my spirit when I see folk up talking about the Lord and they got to read about him from a book.
All right.
Got to pull out. And I'm not against preaching with notes, but you got to pull out this and pull out that. And, it's okay. It's all right to read some of your sermons, but if you got to read all of it, it's something wrong.
All right.
You got to know it for yourself. And Jesus puts them on the spot, and he says to them, who do you say? Now that you're not talking to folk out there, now that you're in here with me, now that you're in my face, now that it's mono a mono, now it's person to person, face to face, now that you don't have the advice from the outside folk, now that you don't have other people to whisper in your ear, tell me, who do you say? You, whom I chose by the direction of the Lord. You, whom I prayed for all night long, because my judgment without prayer would not have been fair to the kingdom. You, who walked with me. You, who've listened to my sermon on the mount. You, who watched me take water and turn it into wine. You, who gave me a little boy's lunch and watched me multiply the bread, and while I divided the bread at the same time, you who heard me say, blessed are the pure in God, you who watched me cast demons out of folks, you who watched me give sight to the blind and raise the dead, who do you say that I am? And the church folk got quiet.
All right.
We don't have a verse 14 to follow verse 15. Some say it is. 14 says, and they said. Which means all of them had an answer. But now that the ones who ought to recognize his presence and know his purpose and feel his power, now that they are called on for a personal response to this public question asked in the hearing of all 12 of them, there is no and they said following this answer, this question. Only one person answered. 1 out of 12. And he didn't know that he didn't know what he was talking about. The Son of the living God. And I really wish that we could all read this in Greek. Because the way that they wrote it, the way that Matthew penned it in Greek was after Peter said it, he didn't quite close his mouth. Because he was surprised at what he said. He was shocked by his own words. You know, Peter was used to opening his mouth. We got church, pastor, people in all our churches, they're used to opening their mouth. You can see their faces right now, can't you? All right. It doesn't matter what's going on. You know they're going to have something to say. That's the way Peter was. Peter always had something to say. He opens his mouth and gives not only the answer, but he gives the right answer. To the end that he himself is shocked. And the reason we know that is because we look at what Jesus says to him in 17. He says, Simon, you blessed. You, Jonah's boy, you are blessed. But I need to tell you why you're blessed. You're not blessed because you're smarter than the other disciples. You're not blessed because you made an A in systematic theology. You're not blessed because you got honors attached to your degree and the others didn't. You're not blessed because you knew something the others didn't know. You are blessed because you didn't come up with this answer on your own. All right. They didn't teach you this at Mid-Hudson Bible Institute. All right. They didn't teach you this at Andover Newton. You didn't get this down at Union Theological Seminary. Peter, you didn't learn this because you grew up in your daddy's Jonah's house and he taught you before who I was going to be. And when I showed up, you know the answer because your daddy told you. Flesh and blood did not reveal this to you. Let me tell you why you're blessed. You were blessed because you were brave enough to at least open your mouth. All right. Now, I said earlier that we got some folk in our churches that we already know they're going to open their mouths. I got folk in my church that I'm glad they do. All right. All right. People who open their mouths quickly are not the worst people in the world. All right. Sometimes they are the best people in the world. And sometimes they don't mind speaking because they're going to speak the truth. All right. Simon Peter, you're blessed because you were bold enough to open your mouth. You are a man of faith, brother. You know you didn't know, but you opened your mouth anyway. All right. God blessed your effort. Yeah. God breathed on your desire. God breathed on your intention. God breathed on your faith. You trusted God enough that when you open your mouth, that he would put in your mouth what needs to come out of your mouth. Right. You are blessed because now you know what it means to be in touch with God. All right. Peter, you didn't get that answer from education. You didn't get that answer from your information. Peter, you got your answer from revelation. Yeah. You got your answer from God telling you what you did not know, borrowing your mind and borrowing your lips and borrowing your voice to say through you what he wanted said. Yeah. You just got connected with God on high. You just got connected with the power of the living God, and he used you to speak for him. Yes. It's revelation, Peter. Revelation, yeah. And I'm glad you said what you said, so I could teach you something that saints need to know, that what you get that blesses the lives of people will not just come from your personal information or your public education. It will come by my revelation. You can talk your talk all you want, but all it will be is scattering a candle flickering in the wind. But when I get ready to speak, when I thunder forth my divine words from the heavenly throne, all I ask you to do is to be available. I don't ask you to be able. I don't need your ability. All I ask you to do is make yourself available. Open your mouth and I will speak through you. It's not your word anyway. It's my word. Unless I keep you too long, he says, Peter, as a matter of fact, let me tell you something else. Your name is Peter. And upon this rock, I will build my church. Now, verse 18 is the reason why we have Protestants and Catholics. Verse 18 is the reason why some people believe that Peter was the first pope. A word that's not even in the Bible. And that all churches are built on him. But I beg to differ with my brothers. Again, I wish we could really know this language that this was written down in. Jesus said to him, your name is Peter. In Greek, P-E-T-R-O-S. You know what that means in English? Little bitty pebble. A small stone. That's what that means. And then he said, upon this rock. Now the rock in the language that it was written in is P-E-T-R-A-S. And in English, it means a boulder that's so big and strong that it creates a whole cliff. So what was Jesus saying to him that they understood because they knew the language that we don't understand? Jesus was saying, Peter, you just a little bitty pebble. You just one of a multitude of small stones. But it's not upon you, a small stone, that I'm building my church. It's going to be a massive boulder that nothing can move, that nothing can push down. Peter, I'm organizing this church, not on you, not on your education, not on your information, but on revelation from God. When God speaks to you, that's when you can be a church. When God reveals things to you, that's when you can be a church. So all I ask you all to do is be little stones.
All right.
Don't get your head too big.
All right.
Be a little stone. But you know what happens when you keep putting little stones together? Be little stones. Be who I call you to be. Do what I sent you to do. Talk when I tell you to talk. Walk the way I tell you to walk. Just be that little stone. Every believer, Peter, Paul, John, James, every believer since the beginning up to now is just a small little pebble. Every preacher on this pulpit, every preacher in this house, we're just small little pebbles. Every saint of God, we're just small little pebbles. But God takes these little pebbles, puts them all together, puts us all together until he gets a massive boulder that's so strong that nothing can move it. That's so strong that nothing can hurt it. That's so strong that nothing can hinder it. The church is a massive stone, a massive boulder that the devil in hell cannot fight against, that the enemies of earth cannot fight against, that no demon is strong enough to overcome. We are a strong, massive rock, and nothing will ever move us. So keep on being the church. Keep on being faithful. Keep on serving until we become a mass holder. Because these are troubled times. These are evil times. These are wicked times. These are deadly times. But you know what? In times like these, we need a Savior. In times like these, we need an anchor. Be very sure. Be very sure. Your anchor holds and grips a solid rock. I don't know about you, but I am sure. I am very sure that in times like these, I need a Savior. In times like these, I need an anchor. I'm sure. I'm very sure. My anchor holds and grips the solid rock. Maybe you don't know the rock. It's not Star. It's not Bethel. It's not Mount Calvary. It's not Metro. It's not Macedonia. This rock is Jesus. Yes, he's the one. This rock is Jesus, the only one. Be very sure. Be very sure. Your anchor holds and grips the solid rock. It's not me, it's not you, it's Jesus. He is the rock.
Yes, he is.
And he's coming back for a church.
Hallelujah.
Without spot and without wrinkle.
Yes.
Upon this rock, the living word that's in this written word, on Jesus.
Yes.
That's the only rock that will stand the test of time.
Yes. Hallelujah. 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 Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 You've heard the word, and we're not going to take it for granted that everyone in here is saved. So we're going to open up the doors of the church. And if you're here today and you have not given your life to Christ, this is the time. This is the time right now, this day, this hour, to give your life to Christ. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. If you'll stand, hallelujah. 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 Bless your name, Jesus. This is the time. Don't have much time. Give yourself to the Master. He'll make your life so bright. Ooh. Hallelujah. 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 We thank God for the word that came from the man of God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. He preached the word. Hallelujah. Bless your name, Jesus. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let us be those little pebbles going out, telling somebody, as we all do it, somebody's life is going to be changed. Hallelujah. We bless the Lord for that word. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you, Pastor. Hallelujah. Bless your name, Jesus. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Before I have remarks, I'm going to ask if Reverend Janet Harris would like to have something to say.